My name is Brad Smith, and I'm bringing a quick presentation called Hyde School, an objective review. What I think parents and students should know about Hyde School. Now, what is Hyde? Well, Hyde is a leadership high school based in the Northeast. By leadership, I mean their preface for kids is to use their 5 words and principles made by the Galt family to increase a student's morality, thus increasing discipline and success in life. So far, so good. Now let's build some credibility here. Why does listening to me matter? Why do I have an opinion? Well, my name's Brad Smith. I had the unfortunate pleasure, I guess, of attending Hyde in the fall of 2008. Now, after going back to public school after a couple months at Hyde, I graduated from my nationally acclaimed high school with a 4.06 GPA and a 4-point scale, top 10% of my class. I played the principal violin in the school orchestra, which means I was third chair. I'm an Eagle Scout, and I played high school football for all 6 years I could. And I currently go to college at a Big 12 school with a 3.5 or higher GPA. And I've been in Army ROTC for 2 years. So I don't like touting my own achievements, but I'm a pretty credible guy, just based on what I've done. Now, what should you know about Hyde? Well, Hyde is an atheist-centered school, which means that the faculty in the school itself do not acknowledge religion, they don't acknowledge God, and they don't help students go to religious services. And this is a problem. Now, I'm not saying you need to be religious. I'm saying if you are religious, it's probably not a good idea to go to the school because they don't support religion. Now, Hyde is a 2-4 work program. What this means is if you do something that Hyde doesn't like, you disobey a rule, you talk back to a teacher, you tell your family you don't like the school, pretty much anything that they don't like, they have the ability to put you on this 2-4 program. That means you get up in the morning at 6, or I guess 5:30. You work out for an hour. After that, you get breakfast and you work manual labor in the school, on the school grounds the entire day. Then you get a sandwich for lunch, a sandwich for dinner, and you go to bed at 9 o'clock. Now, the problem with that is you're not going to class. So if you're on 2-4 like I was for a month, or talking back to a teacher, it's not really helpful for your education. So the 2-4 work program is kind of ridiculous and it's borderline unconstitutional. Now, Hyde tries to sell their school like it's some successful boarding school that achieving kids go to, and that's just not true. Parents who have kids with drug problems, morality issues, they send them to Hyde. And now I'm not bashing the students here. I'm saying that the school misrepresents itself. What it really is it's kind of like a middle ground school for kids who've gotten expelled. But what they preface it as an excellent school that kids who overachieve go to. So it's just a misperception. Privacy is not allowed at the school. What I mean by that is if you know one of your classmates is doing something wrong and you don't turn them in, that means that you have the same punishment. Now that's a problem because no one likes tattletales, Snitches get stitches, it's not fun. But it produces a really kind of shallow tattletale mentality. And it's just not helpful. It's also kind of judgmental and it's just a horrible policy. Classes are below average. I went from my old high school, which is a public school, to Hyde, and I thought the classes at Hyde were abundantly easier. They weren't very in-depth. They didn't preface writing. Very easy course load. It's a very easy school. So if you want a good education, I really wouldn't suggest going there based on my own opinion. And then the last thing, everything in the school is mandatory. If you don't like sports, you have to do sports. Well, if you don't like a certain sport, they can tell you whatever sport to do. So if you don't like wrestling and they want you to wrestle, for instance, you have to wrestle. And they make you do silly things. Like they have a weekend where you have to sing in front of the school. What if you don't like singing? What if it's just not fun for you? You have to do it. When your parents come for the weekend, you have to talk about certain things. You have to tell them you like the school. They really just make you conform in whatever way possible. And it's really kind of destructive to any kind of individuality you have. It's just a really authoritarian-esque school. Not a good school. Now, the biggest problem I have with Hyde is that their principles are just fundamentally flawed. They don't make sense. The things they teach you they don't make sense. They teach attitude is everything. Now, that's not true. If you have a bad attitude but you still do it, that's fine. Are you supposed to have a good attitude when you do something your parents tell you to take out the trash? You're supposed to have a good attitude about it? No, it doesn't make sense. What matters is that you do the work. They have a couple. They say excellence is everything. Excellence is not everything. A person's worth is not based on their actions. It's based on how they treat people. It's based on integrity, which their definition is flawed as well. They said integrity is I am gifted with unique potential, and conscience is my guide to discovering it. You know, conscience is not your guide to discovering your unique potential. In my opinion, Jesus Christ is your guide to discovering your unique potential. You know, that's something that's eternal, something that can explain the afterlife. You know, if you're a good person but you have no eternal values, what's the point? It says truth is our primary guide. Well, that's true, but then you have to define truth. You know, what is truth? What is your basis for saying what truth is? Well, my basis for truth would be the Bible. Their basis for truth is whatever the Gauls think. That doesn't make sense. And then the last thing is, you know, brother's keeper. We help others to achieve their best. And that basically means, you know, you judge people, you tell people what to do. It's a real kind of lack of respect. You know, let people live their lives. You know, if they ask you for advice, that's fine, but you shouldn't go pry into other people's lives. And that's where school has a huge problem. And just what to take away from this. This is just my opinion. Take it or not, don't really care. Hyde's a really strict school, and it really takes away like a kid's individuality and kind of their spirit. You know, uniqueness is a great thing, and as a parent, you know, you don't need to change your child. You just need to hone their gifts. And what Hyde does is they make the mistake of conforming your child to whatever the school and you want them to be, and that's just not good parenting. You know, in my opinion, if you and your kid are having a problem, don't send them across the country. You know, work on it. Get a counselor. Use some positive reinforcement to get, you know, work out of your kid. Appreciate them, love them. Don't send them across the country to a boarding school. That's not the solution. You know, if you really do love your child, I would just suggest researching the school itself before sending them there. Because if you read reviews, a lot of people have mixed opinions about the school. And for some kids, it might work. For me, it really didn't work. And for a lot of my friends, it didn't work as well. And I hate to see kids, you know, go through. Childhood is such a fundamental part of a kid's life. And for a school to misuse a kid's childhood and to, you know, teach them false principles and false sense of, you know, self-worth really hurts. So in my opinion, you know, do your research, call the school, ask them some questions, especially about 2-4. It's a ridiculous policy. And, you know, my goal for making this video is to help one kid find a school that actually meets their needs and to not go through what I did. But hey, you know, take it or leave it, and God bless.